Welcome back, Dr. Matt here. So macronutrient counting continues to be a trend, a heavy trend, as a way of consuming food and counting or tracking what you eat. So what is macro counting in the first place? I get this all the time. What is macro counting? What are macros? So macro counting basically is when you keep track of the grams of protein, the grams of carbohydrates, and the grams of fat you ingest on a given day. And you probably have certain grams of protein, grams of carbohydrates, grams of fat that you're trying to meet on each day. This counting of your macronutrients, so protein, fat, carbohydrates, those are your three macronutrients. Over the years, I've seen many people lose weight via macro counting. I've seen people, really gain a better understanding of, what they're putting in their body. Many, especially females, finding that, especially if they're into working out and fitness, they're, way under calculating the amount of food they're eating, probably because they're looking at magazines and seeing, all the slim everywhere, and not realizing that, hey, if you want to excel in your particular sport or your fitness endeavor, you're going to have to eat more food to make up for that. So as we go along, I'm not saying that macro counting is terrible, that it should never be used, that it's has no support behind it, that there's never a time it shouldn't be used. But as a standard way of living life related to food, it is not my first choice. And I'll kind of go through a few of those things here. So mostly what I've seen in people counting macros, and hundreds and hundreds of these people, they tend to sacrifice real food because the real food doesn't fit into their macro goals. They have a health coach or macronutrient coach who gives them particular goals, or maybe they have a health calculator or something, or a macronutrient calculator they're trying to reach these particular macro goals, and it's not fitting in. The real food isn't fitting in, so they can't eat the real food. Time after time, a patient who is counting macros has said to me how they have to eat the processed deli meat or deli turkey or deli chicken, and not say make their own burger at home or do a roast at home kind of thing, because that stuff's already packaged, and the amount of macronutrients, proteins, it's already written on the label, so they know exactly what they're getting when they get that food stuff, that processed food stuff. Or, they say, I eat a peanut butter cup at night instead of an apple or blueberries because the peanut butter cup fits my macros better, that snack fits better. Or instead of eating, grass-fed beef and Alaskan salmon, they drink a pre-mixed, little premier protein drink from Costco that's just loaded with processed junk, because it has just the right amount of protein. They can get that 20 grams of protein really easy by doing that, and the salmon and beef has too much fat in it. So you can see where this is going, right? Not my style, and I hope it's not your style either. This is leading a person's body in a direction that does not beget more life. And we know that life begets life. So the body is amazing at caring for us, even when we completely depleted of resources, time and time again. But at some point, our body is simply going to say, you know what? We lost too much ground. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough micronutrients. We can't make up for this. No matter how many hundreds of grams of protein you give us, your body composition is not what you want it to be. Is not going to be what you want it to be, because we do not have the resources to make the hormones, to detoxify, to allow your system to perform at its highest level, because we're nutrient depleted. So is there value in tracking your portions, tracking your macronutrients, weighing your food, using, say, a particular size plate or a particular size bowl, writing down what you eat, journaling what you eat? I think yes, 100%. There can be great value in that, especially given that we live in the industrialized world, and we live in a state of literally overwhelming food abundance. Thousands and thousands of decisions we have to make every day related to food. So if you're not consciously considering what you're eating, both in caloric density and in food quality, you could easily end up with a body composition you do not want to have, you have no desire for, and you could end up in a health state that has a lot that you don't want to be a part of. That's not you. So many patients over the years have exclaimed to me, have proclaimed, have stated that it's not that they eat bad food. And for starters, once we start calling food good or bad, that's a fair sign that our relationship with food is not where we want it to be. Then it's going to make our relationship with food very, very challenging when we start calling foods good and bad. So I would try not to do that. But instead of, they say, that when I'm not eating bad food, it's just that I eat too much good or healthy food, or foods they consider healthy. But once we really get down to the food items being consumed on a regular basis, it's quite apparent that what they've been consuming and what they've been taught is real, whole, high-value food is not actually real, whole, high-value food. Because if you're eating a high-value food, a real food diet over and over and over and over again, your body will get where you want your body to get to. I literally have never seen it not happen before, consistently being done. And if your body's been off, body composition has been off for a long time, you've had weight on you for a while, sure, it's going to take longer, and it might, there's a lot of nuances to that, but life-giving food over and over again can only do one thing to the body, and that is produce more life in the body. So if you're eating a high-processed food dietary regimen, then you better count macros. Otherwise, you're not going to know when enough is enough food. Or otherwise, you're just going to balloon up. You're going to gain way more fat than you want to gain if you're not eating real whole foods. And it's a lot of processed food. So if you eat processed food, you better count your macros. And counting macros, it's almost guaranteed to give you some short-term acute, whoa, this is awesome, I'm losing this weight, success. I've seen it happen so many times. But eating real whole food day after day while, potentially considering macronutrients as part of what you're doing, but the real whole foods is your true foundation. That is a long-term strategy for health and body composition success. It's almost like cannot happen for you. So do not be fooled. Counting macros literally is the same thing as counting calories. People will tell you it's not. No, it's not. Except that you're counting macros that add up to calories. This is why people say you're not actually counting calories, because you're counting the protein, the fat, the carbohydrate. You're not actually counting calories, but the deal is 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So if you're, say, consuming 50 grams of fat a day, well, guess what? Those are 450 calories you're consuming. If you're consuming 100 grams of protein a day, you're consuming 400 calories from protein. So do not be taken by those who would say, "Oh, you're not counting calories. We're going to count macros." No, you're still counting calories. So if you want to lose weight, and macro counting is your, I would say, plan of choice, then and not whole foods as the foundation, with a macronutrient counting bias within those whole foods, then the only way you're going to lose weight is if those macronutrients you consume add up to less calories than you are using in your body on a given day. So you're literally, to lose weight, you're still just lowering calories, lowering your input to see that weight loss. And it just doesn't work for the long term. It does not work for the long term. Unfortunately, this way of thinking about food inputs is so just prevalent, but it's just too simplistic, and it leaves patients, it leaves clients, unable to maintain their desired fitness or body composition goals in On the other hand, if they were putting in whole, real food day after day, you are putting in whole food, real food day after day. What are you doing? You're turning down your inflammatory processes. You're turning on genes that say, let's burn fat as an energy source. Let's build brain. Let's support this heart. Let's support these kidneys. You're supporting optimal detoxification by having whole foods coming in. You're giving your hormones the nutrition they need to perform the tasks of regeneration in your body. You are literally creating a younger, more capable self. That has not happened with macro counting. It only happens when real whole foods is the foundation. The results may not be 10, 20 pounds lost in 4 to 6 weeks on your macronutrient, calculator. But 6 months from now, 1 year from now, you'll have a body that doesn't fluctuate by 5 pounds anytime you don't eat perfect. Who likes that? You'll have a body that naturally gives you that satiation signal, and you can trust it. You'll have a body that naturally gives you a hunger signal, and you can trust it. Who doesn't want to be able to trust their body? This is what we call health accumulation, being able to trust our bodies with the food we put in our bodies. Your body begins to operate on autopilot because it has received real food input after real food input. And how great would that be if your body was acting on autopilot and it was giving you the results you wanted? That's going to lift up so much stress off your being, off your mind, off your relationship with food. Our bodies, they're infinitely more complex and in tuned to their need, to its needs, to our needs, than any macronutrient calculator will ever hope to be. I know there's a lot of cool ones out there, but still, your body is far more intelligent than those macro calculators. And, consider macronutrient counting as a tool, sure. It can be a tool. Your whole foods eating, though, if you want optimal body composition, if you want your energy levels through the roof, you've got to have whole foods, real foods as your foundation. If you allow macronutrients to be your foundation or the frame of your food plan, it is what you're trying to make happen. It is what you're trying to fulfill. You're going to find yourself lacking in health, in vitality, in vigor, and in just your general enjoyment of food and your relationship with food. People say macronutrient counting is freeing. No, eating real food is freeing. Eating real food is freeing because then you don't have to even. It's like, there's peanut butter cups, there's Twix, there's candy bars, there's potato chips, there's crackers, whatever it is. You don't have to think, okay, can that fit in my macros? Could I somehow get that into my life? Is that gonna be okay? Do I need to skip out on that, or do I need to skip out on the blueberries? Do I need to skip out on the grass-fed beef or the free-range eggs? I can't have egg yolks. I can only have the egg whites because the egg yolks is gonna put me over my fat amount. Man, no. You put real food in your body because real food was created for real bodies. That is what food is for. It is to supply us with nourishment we need to perform the tasks of life, to make us more capable. It's just that for so many of us in the industrialized world, we have not been consuming real whole foods over and over again. And so we have no idea what a normal amount of food is to consume or what our body's needs truly are. But 6 months from now, like I said, a year from now, of you consuming over and over and over again real whole foods, man, life is going to be good. All right. Comments, questions, put them below. Hope this was helpful, and hope it helps catapult you into a real food, whole food, life-giving food, dietary food strategy. I'm Dr. Matt. Please subscribe, smash the like button, smash the bell so you're notified when more videos come out. We're going to accumulate health until everybody we know wants to accumulate health with us. That's how healthy we're going to be.